It has a direct pipeline directly, as Greg said, into the core of Google. And that makes all the difference in the world, because that pipeline has a level of trust that you in the Midwest logging into a GMB would not have.
Yeah. And talk to us about like suspension, like some things like that. Cause I know people think, suspension is like, it's like what happened to me in high school all the time. So it's like not known as a good thing, but suspension is also like, people have to understand like there's trust values that are given to these different GMBs. And so some things are outside of your control. Some things are outside of I was just reading an article about this company in New York that they closed their doors because exactly what Greg just said. Someone went in there and it was their competitor. They went in there and tinkered with their GMB, and they actually marked it with enough different accounts. It was just a competitor, and Google just auto shut it down. The business didn't know because they were I think it was a Chinese restaurant. And this is a few years back. And they just didn't know that was such a large driver of business for their business. And so they couldn't figure out why no one was showing up. They had been in business a long time. And it turns out that it had been suspended because all these people went and tinkered with it. So some of these little things that you guys are hearing, remember that these, like Greg and Peter, are good sounding boards of guys that have tested the suspension crap, and that we shouldn't be getting all up in a tizzy. It's free. Okay. It's not like you're not really in trouble. It's just part of Google's algorithms, and you just play the game with them. But as best as we can figure out how to continue to, stay ahead, we want to. So this is that tool checks that box. But any other tips, Peter, on that?
Well, the thing is, people don't fully understand the solution until they have experienced the problem. And it's one thing to say, oh, I can manage GMBs from a central dashboard. Okay, well, is there a big deal to that? Yeah, when you have 40, 50, 60, 70 GMBs, it becomes a little cumbersome to log in and check them all out, or to try and find them, or to try and search for them. And having everything on a dashboard that's safe. And there are other products out there that do this, but not like Patrick's. Because Patrick looked at the few products out there that sort of do this and said no, and he kind of blew them all away and made his just much more solid. Because I know some of the other guys, and I know that Patrick did something very, very, very special. And having that centralized dashboard makes all the difference in the world when you start to get into 30 or 40 or 50 GMBs, as Greg will attest. And having something that notifies you when someone's trying to make a suggestion, or if a suspension happens, that's huge. Because there are so many times when I have gone weeks and I've said, shit, I really need to check on that group because I've got like 17 or 18 GMBs in California, and I forget to look at them sometimes. And I don't want to have it sprung on me for obvious reasons. I want to know, just like Patrick said, I want to be able to preemptively react and say, okay, what do I need to do to fix this? So this is powerful stuff.
Yeah, I remember, so this is dating back, back in the day, GMB. And I know GMB is one very, very small feature as it pertains to, our whole business. It's not a small feature, but it's just, especially as it pertains to his product, it's got so many different facets to it. And by the way, everyone, I did post a link. So anyone that is on this stream, if you missed it and you think you lost the early bird, I got a link for everyone. You'll be able to get to the platform, but just wait till Patrick says so, because he's got some special goodies that you're going to want to know about before then for everyone that's on the stream and that's over the next 24 hours. But yeah, it's one of those things that I remember 10 years ago when I had my first few of those things suspended. It was, again, I had to go through it to understand, not that big of a deal, fix it. But at scale, as you get bigger and you have lots of clients, and it's like, you don't want this stuff to happen. And just the other day, I have this client that is in, I think they're in the Midwest, and we happened to log into the email in a different state that controlled the GMB, and that's all. It's suspended within a few minutes, nothing more than it was suspicious. And so this will check that box that you're not moving in from all these different locations, or you have your VAs helping you. It's like this really streamlines on just that one section of the tool. So I think that's important to point out.
One thing for the people that don't know what an API is, which is an advanced programming interface. that's when you get a direct conduit into Google. And like Greg said, you have to be approved for it. And it's not like Patrick's software is doing what we would normally do on the surface, only it does it automatically. It doesn't work that way. It has a direct pipeline directly, as Greg said, into the core of Google. And that makes all the difference in the world, because that pipeline has a level of trust that you in the Midwest logging into a GMB would not have.
Correct.
And I'm totally interrupting here, but I think this is very critical to hammer home for a lot of people in this group.
Right.
But Patrick, look, compared to Peter Wallach, compared to Patrick Shannon, compared to Greg Bukovats, compared to a lot of other people in this group, I don't know shit about this stuff. and what Patrick has done is
you look great.
All these words.
Really
the thing is that all these words that you're glazing over right now, dude, my brain's exploding right now too. But guess what? I ain't got to think about the shit because Patrick's software does it for me.